Uh-huh. Who wants to be a Melvinaire? It's a manhood movement, constant elevation, every day we improving. 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, I think you should tune in. It's more than a podcast, it's a family reunion. Melvinaires. My nigga Mel up in here. You know Rome, he the plug, no telling who might appear. Could be one of your favorite rappers, community activists, businessmen and women to the shooters and savages. Melvinaires. Yeah, we Melvinaires. Yeah, we Melvinaires. Uh-huh, yeah, we Melvinaires. Listen, you still a baby boy. This is manhood shit.
Yo, mic check, 1 2 1 2. It's the almighty Melvinaire podcast, man. We back in the building one time. Live and direct from the dojo, man. Digital Impact Studios in the building one time, baby. It's your host, none other, Rome the Plug. We back again, man. Fresh off the hiatus, man. Sorry about last week, man. We had technical difficulties, man. We right back on the rescheduled show, man. And tonight is Relationships Volume 2. Relationship Requisite. Man, I said that shit well, bro. Like, I was practicing that shit, bro. Like, yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. I was practicing that shit, man. But like, yo, tonight is a special occasion, man. Big shout out to the self-care snob. Once again, this Relationships, the podcast, be on the lookout. Big shout outs to her, man. And this is her baby, man. So like, yo, we waiting on her to pop up. We gonna handle this with care and with love as always, man. And essentially tonight we are going to be discussing the list or the voice or the conscience that you wish that you heard before you stepped into your last really bad situation, relationship wise. The list that you should have checked off before you engaged into that situation, before you agreed to go on that date, before you took that drink. You know what I mean? Like before all of that, before y'all ever stepped into the whatever level of toxicity you experienced in that experience, the list that you should have checked off, and that's what we're gonna take a ride. You know what I mean? And essentially go over the list and check it twice, essentially. But before we start, we're gonna let everybody introduce themselves. I mean, of course, y'all know me. We're gonna let the bro introduce himself. We're gonna
Billy Ray Valentine. My bad. Billy Ray Valentine, Brickyard, Philadelphia. Billy Ray Valentine, Brickyard,
Sunshine Monet.
Go ahead, Sunshine. Nah, you good.
Hi.
Great.
I'm Sunshine.
All right, man. And yo, special guest in the building, man. First time here. Give it up. Give a round of applause, TJ. Give a round of applause, bro. First time on the Melvinaire podcast, man. Touch it down in the studio, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, everybody. I'm Courtney.
Yes. We got Courtney live and direct in the studio, man. And yo, Courtney's gonna be part of the team now going forward, man. So yo, big shout out to Courtney, man. So like, yo, first time here. You know what I'm saying? First show. You know what I mean? Going forward, yo, like this is what it is, man. It's all about growth and development, you know. So that's what we doing. So like, yo, for me, I ain't gonna go into specifics, right? So like, I'll be the first one to go. I had a previous situation that I just recently got over, and my relationship requisite that I should have checked off was I should have did my homework. So like at the time, it was like during the pandemic, right? So it was a little shaky for everybody, you know what I'm saying? So and at the time, I was kind of like in the midst of like a really bad breakup, but I ain't understand that I was breaking up yet. You know what I'm saying? And I met this individual. There we go. There she go. The self-care snob in the building herself, man. Round of applause. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome. Courtney, this is Cass Courtney.
Hey.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah. So back to my relationship requisite. So just a brief history. Yo, so what I should have did was I should have did my homework, right? But at that time, me being me, I was emotional at the time. Due to the exactly what I was going through. There was some heavy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in my feelings about it.
Heartbroken.
And go ahead, bro.
You was heartbroken? Was it heartbreak?
Nah, it was heartbreak. It was heartbreak. Like I can't lie. It was heartbreak, bro. And like I think like the fact that I had to go through shock because it was me experiencing heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? And that was like
Shocking.
kind of like it was a shock. 'Cause I'm like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like no, like you know what I mean? Like what you mean? Like it was
Last time,
it was a thing
no,
for
my
me.
bad.
Nah,
When last time
man.
you felt like that? When last time you felt like that?
I
Probably when you was
probably
younger. When you was young, probably.
yeah, bro. Like I can't remember the last time like I felt like that. And that feeling, bro, that feeling, I'm typically good by myself. You know what I'm saying? I typically enjoy my time to myself, away from everybody, not sharing it, not sharing my energy. Like I can enjoy that for a while. I think this was the one point in my life where I ended up gaining a dependency on this person, and they was just up and gone, bro, because we was together every day when the pandemic started. So it was kind of just us. You know what I'm saying? And then she was up and gone, bro. And then like I'm like, damn. And in my mind, like the lower half of me, like the nigga part of me, like, oh shit, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you go ahead, you know what I'm saying? And have a ball, you know what I mean? Do you, whoop de whoop. And then the other half of me was like, damn, yo, my bitch gone. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't fathom that shit, bro, because like that was really at that point in time where I was at in life, yo, that was the one for me. And yo, she was gone, and we broke up, bro. Like I was like on some tragic shit. Like I couldn't sleep sometimes. I couldn't eat sometimes, bro. You know what I mean? Like I was just up. I couldn't hear certain songs. You know what I'm saying? Because it just triggered everything for me, bro. And I was just a fucking mess. And I found myself in another situation and on a whole nother relationship in the midst of that. Just from wanting to have, just from being used to having that dependency.
Rebound.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, and when that happens, in retrospect, and when I was in it, I never looked at it like that. But in retrospect, having to go back and look at it, yes, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, when it comes down to it, we just have to be real about. And I'll be the first one. I've just set it off. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I made some fucked up decisions, being emotional. You know what I'm saying? And had I thought out exactly what it is that I wanted, peace, Lotus. Had I thought out what exactly it is that I wanted and what I needed, opposed to giving myself time and patience to figure out what my next move was in that situation, I may be in a different space. You know what I'm saying? So like I just say, look, I own my shit. I fucked up. I fucked up. I made a bad choice. I own it. You know what I'm saying? Look, I got a beautiful little boy out of it. You know what I mean? Changed my life. You know what I mean? And yo, I can't change that. And life goes on.
Hey, life goes on, right?
Life goes on.
I mean,
So look.
it's always big when. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You want to introduce Lotus?
Yeah, Lotus, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people real quick.
Hey y'all, I'm Lotus Flowerbomb, the painstaker and troublemaker. Was really good in the neighborhood. Hello, everybody on the panel.
What's up? Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I do have like a couple topics that we all going to speak on, but I want everybody to kind of give their little piece first. You know what I'm saying? Before we
Let me give you your credit real quick because I was about to say it's always big when you can acknowledge when you make a mistake as a man,
Absolutely.
especially at the age we are. We up there as far as late 30s or 40s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we grew up being stuck in our ways. In the era we grew up in, we all talk about this behind the scenes. The era we grew up in was a very toxic and pretty much unforgiving, uncompassionate era. So and that rubbed off on a lot of our men. So anytime a man from that era can acknowledge something this late in their life, they showing that they could progress. That's always big because the older you get, the more stuck in the ways and stuck in your ways that you get.
It's one thing my pops always told me, bro, and it always stick with me. And it's like, yo, if you don't ever learn how to evolve, you die. And that's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a principle, yo. If you can't evolve, you die. Eventually, those thoughts that way it passes, and shit changes and moves on, yo. If you can't adapt, you get left behind. That's just flat out. Like I think, man, like me having a kid so late, I think for me, from having children so early, I think, yo, it really makes me think about what I want for my son, bro. And like when I had my girls, it was one thing. Like I wasn't shit at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I had times in the midst of, yo, I had daughters, but I wasn't shit. Like, yo, I moved like a nigga that wasn't shit. I was doing shit that wasn't shit. So it was one thing, yo. Like I think, yo, bro, for my son, yo, it's so different, yo, because like I really think about what I do now. I really seriously consider the moves that I make because I know he watching me, and
Mm-hmm.
like I don't I don't want I want to break that trend. You know what I mean? That like for him, I want something different, bro. So like I'm trying to carry myself different. You know what I mean? I need to acknowledge the mistakes that I've made so that going forward, I can't teach nobody else how to move forward if I ain't teaching myself. You know what I mean? Let alone taking care of my end on my yard. You feel me? So I gotta clean my
Mm-hmm.
yard up first, bro. You know what I mean? So like I just feel like as men, there's something that we all need to do is, yo, we all need to clean our yards. Like, yo, bro, before I could ever sit up here and talk about P. Diddy and or anybody else or whomever, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta think about my shit first. And I gotta think about me first, bro. Cause yo, if somebody really want to do their homework with me, they're like, oh, this nigga, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And this, you know what I mean? Whoop de whoop. And yeah, it could be that. So like, yo, like being just acknowledging your shit, bro, is one thing. Cause I'm going to talk shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna talk shit about niggas. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing for certain. But I'm gonna talk shit about me first. You know what I mean? And that's just the bottom line. So like before all that, anything else is said and done, let that be said. And Cass, please, relationship requisite. Please follow your last situation. What was things on your relationship requisite list that should have checked off that you didn't?
Damn, if I knew this was the question, I would have thought about it. I have thought about it. I don't remember. That was years ago. Like that was
Okay, all right,
years
no
ago.
problem, no problem. Courtney,
I've been single for a while.
your last situation
Ha.
before the toxicity, before the breakups, before 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 you got to the "I miss you" text and all that. What were things on your relationship requisite list that you should have checked off that you did not bother to look at until you was already in it?
Mm, it's so many. So, one thing that I've learned as an adult that is very important is how can I put this? I guess it's just learning that communication and accountability
That part.
is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think that the red flag that I saw was I was so in tuned into the potential of the communication that I looked past the fact that this man is not communicating to me the way that I want him to communicate to
Uh-oh. There
me.
everybody goes.
I
So
got a question,
so
real quick.
go ahead,
You
go ahead.
when you say communication, the potential communication, you saying that you felt like the communication was going to get better.
Yes. I felt like
What? Right. Right.
I felt like him as a person, like he had like his personality and how his aura was, it was like, okay, you know, you not you humble, but at the same time it's like that one person get in your ear, it's like you derail. And then
Mm.
now it's the lack of communication.
Mm, okay.
So,
I
mm.
Now go ahead, bro.
No, I just got the clarity. I just wanted to get the clarity on that
So
because I want to let her
potential.
finish what she was saying because I ain't mean to cut. I ain't want to cut her off. I just wanted to ask that question. Yeah,
Yeah, so that to me is important because I think that, like, if you can't talk to me, then what are we doing?
yeah,
Yo, communication is so vital, and it's something that I had to learn. Yo, like I ain't gonna lie, like I didn't have plenty of situations where like I didn't know what to say. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know how to say it.
And
You know
sometimes
what I'm saying?
simply just saying that,
And sometimes it just takes as much as saying that, right?
right?
But when you a young man and you learning how to deal with your pride on top of learning how to manage your emotions, you know what I mean? Like unlearning fucked up ass behavior that was taught to us, you know what I mean? And tactics and customs that we were taught growing up, unlearning that shit
Yeah.
is a task in itself. So like yeah, at a point in my life, it was a point in time. Like yo, like anybody ever ask you about me, like that nigga angry. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, but you know what I mean? Like, it's true. You know what I'm saying? It's true, yo, but to a certain degree, right? But also, like, I'm different now. I'm not the same. I'm not just an angry nigga. Like, I can tell you why I'm angry. You know what I mean? I can tell you why, and I can also tell you the steps that I've taken within myself to improve them from that point. You know what I mean? So it's really about yo growth. Where you going? Like, all right, I may not be able to communicate, but I wanted to go back to one point that you made about potential. Potential is all, and potential and what it is never the same thing. And I had to learn that. I had someone who loved me based on what they thought I could be, not on who based off who I was. You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying? And it was a difference. It caused issues. It caused issues further down the line because it's like, yo, I am what I am. I am who I am. You know what I mean? And if that's not good enough, then yo, it's time for us to part ways. Just real rap. Who we got? Who ain't go? Lotus. I know you got a story. Lotus, tell us about a situation. Tell us about a situation in which you did not properly check off your relationship requisite list.
Oh, well, it's a lot of them. Well, well, first off, I have to say, all jokes aside, that the requisite was more so on me than the other person, right? Because I had to have my own self expectations on what I wanted for myself as well as the person I wanted to be with. And I
Yeah.
overlooked that because I was looking at external gratification instead of internal. I was
Mm-hmm.
looking at satisfying the surroundings instead of self. Um, at that particular time, I didn't have any real expectations, limitations, or even modification, right? Because the biggest thing with me was I was trying to impose something that didn't exist, if that makes sense. This fairy tale
Mm-hmm.
fallacy that I had in my head what a relationship is versus the reality of the situation, right? The red
Right.
flags were there. I ignored them. I put this fluff on it like maybe if I did it this way or if I did it that way, then he would end up being like this. But what I had to learn as I got older was the only way that I could be with someone and quote unquote keep them is if they want to be kept, not
Absolutely.
because of any
Absolutely.
cooking or cleaning or the point here is if the person wants to stay, they will help and they will stick around and understand what you have to offer. But the first and foremost thing is what did I have to offer myself that in turn could help a relationship with somebody else?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Sunshine.
So
I know
that's
you got some
basically
story.
what that was.
Okay. All right. So Sunshine. Now I know. Now listen. If I was a dude trying to court Sunshine, bro, you just gotta keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like I listen. I dated a woman who read tarot cards, bro, and like she told me, like, listen, I ain't gonna hold you. I dated a woman who could read tarot cards, right? And during her readings, yo, no lie, I was like, and we ain't lived like in like extreme proximities. We was like 20 miles away from each other. So like she wasn't in Baltimore. So I'm like, man, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, you know what I mean? Shit, yo, when we was together, yo, my nigga, she break them cards out. Yeah, it's something you're not telling me. And I'm like, what? Like, yo, on everything, bro. Like, it was the most, like, I've never been so honest in a relationship, bro. When I felt like she knew, I had a hint that she thought she knew what I was doing. Man, look, bro. I was honest as hell, bro. My girl was my screensaver, bro. Like, like, I ain't gonna hold you. She was my screensaver, yo. I ain't gonna hold you. I know you got stories with dudes, yo. Whereas I would imagine that a brother that's in the know, like dealing with you, right? Like he just gotta be on point. Cause like you gotta have a way of just like you just gotta have a way of knowing, yo. I know, like there's no way.
Yeah, I be knowing. It be, and I don't even need tarot cards to know. The tarot cards are just for razzle dazzle.
Yo, she fucked me up with them tarot cards, yo. I ain't gonna lie. Like I was shook. Like, all right, okay, I see what this is. All right, yeah, I get faithful as a
Yeah,
mother.
I only been in one serious relationship my adult life. From 19 to 29, I was with the father of my kid. But ever since then, I've been kind of like serial dating, I guess.
Yeah.
And I get the older I get, the more the stuff my parents used to tell me makes sense, and I'm starting to listen to them, and it's making it more and more difficult to date.
Yo,
Because now it's like
Especially
I'm
now.
not just going for anything. Not that I ever did before. I was just with one person, but it's like my tolerance for things is getting shorter and shorter. Like, listen, I
yes.
already know what I got going on. I already know what I want. I already know what I'm doing. Are
Yeah.
you on board or not? Like
Yeah.
that's where I'm at this point. And it's very intimidating, I guess. Some people don't even be thinking past that hello text message, or what is I hate the fucking acronyms. Don't text me acronyms. But like they don't get past that because they never thought that they deserved or that they were going to get past that. So it's like, that's usually where a lot of my interactions kind of stop at now. It's kind of like it doesn't go
So
past the what's your favorite color conversation anymore.
so like yo, do you get like do you still get like niggas that hit you like Grand Risings Queen, and like you
Oh
still get
yeah.
those? Y'all still get those?
Yeah, I
I
still
use
get
Grand
those. They're
Rising.
cute.
I know Kaz get those. Kaz gets those.
I use Grand
I get
Rising.
way too many of those.
I don't
Whole
mind the
inbox
Grand
full of those.
Rising.
PSA, yo, hey, yo, y'all niggas got rest on the Grand Rises, yo. Like, yo, chill, yo. Like,
I
listen,
don't mind it if you're saying other things. Like, I don't mind it if that's what you say, because I have my own little thing I say. But if that's
yeah.
all you say to me every day and you don't have nothing else to talk to me about, like, we're not getting past the good morning, how you doing? How was your day? What did you eat? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm getting bored. Like, there's a pattern in this conversation, and I
yeah,
get bored
absolutely.
easily.
Yeah, no
Well,
doubt, no doubt, man. So, all right, all right. So, I want everybody's opinion. Shaq and Shawnee. We didn't do the show last week, but Shawnee O'Neal, I think she changed the name. I think Shawnee remarried. She's Shawnee something else now. But Shaq's ex-wife recently came out in an article in an interview and stated that she don't know if she ever loved him. She didn't know if she ever loved him, or she knew she didn't love him. Something of that stature, right?
she
But
wasn't in love with him or something like
she
that.
was never in love with him. She was never in love with him, and this is after like 5 kids. I want to say, after like 4 or 5 children, you know what I'm saying? $750 million contracts and contracts, only to get divorced, catch half, and start a generation of thoughtry. Is that a word? Did I just make that shit up? Thoughtry?
No, yeah,
What do
you
you mean
just made
start?
that word up.
Thoughtism?
What she
Thought is not
what
even
she
a word in itself.
Thoughtism?
Like
Thoughtism.
was she out there?
That's an
Could you
acronym.
consider
So
could you consider her
technically,
after she broke up with? I'm sorry. I'm
Nah,
sorry.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
bro.
Do you consider her doing thotty things since she broke up with Shaq?
I
You referring to
consider
Shawnee?
yeah, no, listen, you won't see Shawnee doing thottish things, but you'll see the people around her engaging in all the thottism. So like she's essentially the ringmaster in the
why?
circusry
Why
of
is she
thottism.
I
the
ain't gonna hold
ringmaster?
you.
She
When I
talking
when
about
I broke up
you
with
talking
my
about.
ex,
I'm sorry.
I was with him for like a whole 10 years. And I get where Shawnee coming from because I think about my traumas and the things I was dealing with when I met him. And I was young, I was in college, and I had a son, and I just wanted a family for my kid. And it was all these things. And it's like being present now is like, did I even love you, or was that some attachment traumatic shit? Because once I got older and I started owning myself and I knew what I wanted and shit, when I started loving myself, you were no
Yeah.
longer attractive to me. So is that
Man,
love? Because my
That's
love,
true.
when I think
that's
about how I
relatable.
love like
That's
family
valid.
and friends and shit, I don't feel that way for this dude. And I was with him for 10
That's
years
That
and we have a
that's
that's
child
valid.
together.
That's
So it's just
valid.
that's
like
relatable.
I get that.
But
I
she
wouldn't have said that
knew
on
but
TV or
she knew
nothing.
that
And
she
then
knew
I
that before
also
he
get
signed
the
his first
thoughtry
contract.
because once me and him broke up, that was the only person I was with. I started serial dating. Like, I don't know what I like. I'm about to just go out here and have a good time. Fuck it.
He went
Yo, I
Yeah,
think I
that
think
that
to an extent it's different. Like, yo, for instance, if Shaq worked at UPS, she'd have been left Shaq. I'm just saying.
She would never have
I'm
been
just
left
Would
re-
she
just
though?
Shaq.
Because
just
some of us be letting
yes,
cheaters like chill for
yes,
mad long.
yes. She'd
I
have
don't know
been
about
left
that.
Shaq. If Shaq worked at UPS, she'd have been left him. When you know a nigga he's 7'3", right? So he's 7'3". So at some point she knew, yo, this nigga about to get to a bag at some point. And Shaq was what?
hold
The
on. When
number
they
one
met?
pick.
When they met? When did they meet? They
In
met
college. They met in
before he
college.
in college. Oh yeah,
I think they was
she knew he
together
was
in
gonna be up.
college. She knew what he was gonna be, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like, yo, listen, it wasn't like Shaq was a regular dude, and then it was like Shawnee was like actually, I think I heard something about Shawnee being married prior to Shaq.
She was.
I don't know
She
how true
left.
that is.
She left. Nope. She left somebody for Shaq.
For Shaq, right?
Wow.
She left somebody for
Yeah.
Shaq. So with
So
that
she left
being
somebody
said,
for. Sheesh.
she left a regular dude for Shaq.
That was a
Which
red
makes my
flag right
point.
there.
Which
That was
makes
Right.
the
my
red flag
point.
right there.
Right. Which makes my point. She left a regular dude for Shaq, right? Only to get with Shaq and say, well, I don't know if I love this nigga. Well, you figure that
I'm not
out.
surprised. I'm
Yeah,
not
Well,
surprised by that neither.
well,
I'm
you
not
figured
surprised by
out
that,
okay.
when
man.
Hold on.
yeah, you
Hold
figured out you
on.
loved
I'm
him
gonna
when you
give.
moved into Star
It
Island.
was dusty
Like
on
which
both
part?
ends
Like what
though,
point did you
because
figure that
Shaq
out?
cheated a lot. Like you gotta think
Yeah,
about
I'm
what
not.
Shaq was doing and how Shaq was treating her too.
I
Like
got you. I
he was
got you. I
doing some
got you.
crazy shit back
I,
then.
I got you.
So
I
I
listen. So
don't know.
I'm not condoning cheating, right? But what I am going to say is this: women who marry NBA players, they know exactly what they're signing up for. They know exactly what they
That's
signed. Like
bullshit.
Steph
that
Curry
is
got hoes.
now,
Steph Curry got hoes. Like it's
now,
just true. It's
now.
the
Go ahead,
culture.
cut.
I'm not saying this. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. But what I'm saying is when you got niggas who got travel city to city and they got millions of dollars, it's going to be women, regardless of whatever you know, with a wait for them to do whatever it is that you're not willing to do. That's just the facts. And that's NBA culture. Groupies is part of it. That's just what comes along with it. And all the
I
NBA
wanna
players know this shit.
go ahead. Oh,
Self
go ahead, Cass. I want to hear what
self
you had to say.
discipline is the best form of self love.
It is. It is.
Right. And I was about to get
So,
into that,
so,
but I
so,
wanted to hear from
so
Cass. Cass, you was trying
So
to
there
jump in
was a
there
couple
first.
things. Yeah, there was a couple things I wanted to say. Like, I give Shawnee the benefit of the doubt because if you speak to people who've been married, and I've heard this plenty of times from older married couples. I've seen this in interviews. I've sat down with older married couples, and I've heard them say things like there were times that they hated their spouse. They went through years of not even sleeping in the same bed as them. They go like married couple go through things like this. So I don't really think it's fair to treat Shawnee any differently or act like she's somehow a sinister person for saying this in an interview, not that they're not together. I mean, the only difference is that they actually divorced, but couples go through that.
Yo, but Shawnee
Yeah.
created a generation of thoughtticity, and we have to.
That's the
She's the
other thing.
executive producer.
Hold on.
She's the executive producer.
So
we can't say that. She
how are
created
we? Yeah, we can't say that because World Star Hip Hop was around before Shawnee was really famous. World Star Hip Hop. I mean,
World Star didn't make
generation
Basketball
anyway.
Wives or Love and Hip Hop. I'm referring to that
But
part.
it did.
Love
But
and
it
Hip Hop,
did facilitate.
Basketball Wives.
It did.
World,
Hold on.
World
It,
Star.
World
Go
Star
ahead.
Hip Hop facilitated a lot of thought behavior. Almost all of the thought culture
World Star
that is now
Hip Hop
popular.
is a website where you can pay to upload content, right? So it's just a media hub. Basketball Wives, Love and Hip Hop are all Shawnee's creations, right? And they created this faux expectation of black love and relationships. It created this faux realization of scenarios that occur with everyday people that ain't in the scenario for VH1 to pay for the set and the settings and everything else and all these things. So you have real people, women who are everyday 9 to 5, regular everyday Joe people, right? That watch this, and some, not all, but there's a portion, young ladies who watch this and think that's what the engagement between a man and a woman is supposed to be. And that's my point. When I say she created a generation of false expectations and faux relationships, like, and we talk about the gender wars and some of the things that transpire between us as black men and black women. This is something that like a lot of our we could go to our people's house. All of us could put up to one of our people's house right now, and they probably cleaning the house. They got VH1 on, or something, and Love and Hip Hop is on somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the regularity of the how it's being processed in our community. So that's why I say what I say about that.
Go ahead, Lotus.
Well, the problem. Well, first of all, this type of behavior has been even before, the quote unquote reality TV has happened. It just hasn't been advertised the way it is now. That's one. Secondly, to go back to the point about Shaq and his ex-wife, just like you were saying, there was an expectation for the women. There's an expectation for the men too, because of who they're attracting. Like you said, the groupies and
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of harping on what his ex-wife was saying, we have to look at it from both sides, and let's just be real about it. We do a lot of things so we can be able to meet sociological, societal norms. That's what we do it for.
Correct.
Just like she is questioning whether she loved him or not. The reality of the situation is that she was not in love with him. She was in love with the accolades of him. You see what I'm saying? Yes,
she
was in love. She loved that Reebok contract.
That's what I mean. And she loved the accolades
absolutely.
of what was going on with that. And she had children to try to solidify the deal. Now on Shaq's end, he was trying to meet the societal norm of having the family type situation, the scene, Ace Jams and the this and the that. All of this is for a facade. All of it. Right? If you know somebody like Shaq who speaks slower than molasses in the wintertime, okay, who, I mean, can you imagine laying up with a dude? I mean, seriously. And then you get these bad.
I'm just saying, if a nigga bringing home 50 mil a year, like you gonna respond to that shit with the urgency, you gonna make that sandwich.
And that's what
I ain't gonna lie. And he said, and she got the fuck up and make that shit happen.
Not if he looks like Shaq.
Right, but what I'm saying here is that is my point. My point is that the woman didn't look at him as Shaquille O'Neal, the person, Shaquille O'Neal, the college grad. She looked at Shaquille O'Neal as the bag, the contract, being able to provide for the rest of her life is what she looked at. That's why she was able to say what she said. You know, on the
Mhm.
flip side of that, with Shaq doing what he wanted to do, he felt like, oh, well, she's going to stay because I'm making all this money. Well, now she done got
Right.
what she needed out the gate, so she did. So it was in this particular case, it was a lose-lose situation because neither one of them was in it for the love. Neither one of them.
Mhm.
Okay. And
And that's
understand
one
that
thing.
there's a between liking someone and loving someone. And a lot of times people get into relationships and they don't get past the like stage, right?
Mhm.
Well, I like how he makes me feel and I like how he compliments me and I like, but what do you love about him? Is he dedicated? Is he providing? Is he securing you? You're just going by the grand rising in the morning and that's good enough? What is that?
Hey, yo, I want to know how a nigga go from the grand rising text to ass pics. Like I want to know like the median of like intervention, like where it goes from like super hotep yo to from upper to lower self. Like I like to see the median in those conversations, man. But that shit's crazy.
Oh,
I
But
know.
like,
okay.
I wanted to. I
no,
wanted
go
to
ahead,
touch
bro.
Go
on.
ahead.
I wanted to touch on the fact that the part about women know what to expect from NBA players or athletes in general. Of course, because I mean, I don't want to use that as a scapegoat for the behavior of men. If we are supposed to be leaders, we are looked at as leaders. We have to move like leaders.
Right.
Shaq mistake was like Lotus touched on. He should never got married. He wasn't ready for marriage or anything like that. He probably did it out of security because
Probably
that
had
way
a
he could
kid
have
on the
his
way.
have
Yeah,
a kid
he
on. You know
probably
what
had
I'm
a
saying?
kid on the way. All
Yeah,
this money, yeah, all that money he about to come into, bro. It was probably an easier option to get married. And from his family,
right,
granted, his you know what I'm saying, from family that he came from, I almost guarantee his family encouraged him to get married. You know what
right.
I'm saying?
And my
Yeah,
and
so
my
like I
thing
can
was
see that.
and my thing as far as trying to make it seem like that's normal. I don't think. I think I think we have to speak. We have to start speaking out against things that we used to look at as normal for men. Men with money just being able to womanize. You don't have to womanize. You could be honest, upfront, totally upfront with women, and you can provide resources for them, and you could be totally honest. Some women will accept it, some women won't.
Right.
Fact.
But
Yo,
you don't
so
have
like
to lie.
so when it comes to that, right? When it comes to womanizing, I feel like me personally, I feel like it's a phase in life that all men should endure. You know what I mean? Whether you got a positive or a negative experience, I feel like it should be at least attempted. And from that, the appreciation for when you really find somebody who's super solid is just that much more. Now I could be completely wrong, right? I could like I may not be the example. Now I would tell my son, yo, listen, if you could find a woman that you could be straight up with and blah and all that, I would encourage it. But I would also tell him why he young to womanize, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Because like, yo,
Oh wow.
but and I say that, but
No, I
listen, when I
wouldn't tell
say
him that.
when I
Don't tell him that
when
because then
I'm not
he
necessarily
come
not
he come
necessarily
home with a
woman,
baby.
not necessarily
He come home with
womanize,
a
not
baby like
necessarily womanize,
that's the wrong word to use. Yeah,
but to yeah, not necessarily womanize, right? But to
right.
play his options while he young and to
Right.
be responsible, You know what I mean? I
Listen,
would say
playing the
yeah.
field. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Playing the field and womanizing is two different things. If you're
Yeah,
if you're if you're young,
womanizing
yeah,
comes with more. Womanizing comes with more like emotion and like untruths attached to it. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? When
lying.
you say womanizing, well, lying
Right.
is attached to womanizing. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I wouldn't say womanize, but I would say
Right.
be free. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like,
Be free,
at,
enjoy. Get your
yeah,
experiences.
Enjoy
because like
I
your
mean,
life.
I just
don't
know,
rush into anything.
yeah, I
That's
just know
right.
where
I have a
I was at.
question.
Yes,
Uh-oh.
My question is for Rom. So that's the advice that you give your son. And earlier we touched on gender wars, right? So
yes.
you're a father, you've now got a son. That's the advice you give to your son. Go out and have sex with as many women as you want. Just make sure you're being honest and safe about it.
Look. That's what you took. That's what you
Are we
took from my
pretending? Are
statement.
we
That's not what I
pretending that's
said.
not what you're
That's
saying?
not what I said. That's not what I said. That's what you
Look
took
out.
from what I said.
Look out.
All
Okay,
right,
let's
clear
get
it
some
up.
clarification.
Let's you want clarification? So when
Yes,
I
clear
say
it up.
womanize, you could be a man talking to multiple women, and that could be considered womanizing. It doesn't mean you're necessarily sleeping with them.
No,
It
okay.
doesn't indicate that
So
you're
to
sleeping
be
with them.
clear,
So
so to be clear, you're telling your son to just date around.
I would tell my son while he's young to have experience with women so he doesn't get stuck on one, because be able to get stuck on one, he will be easily able to be manipulated and have game ran on him. Before I was ever
So
this, I was that. No, hold on. Before I was ever this, I was that guy. I was the guy having shit ran on him, because you know what I'm saying. So before I was ever Rome the womanizer and the side nigga extraordinaire and all this other shit, before I was ever any of that, right? I was a nigga getting game ran on him, right? So what I would tell my son is, yeah, yo, you need to go fill yourself out first before you ever decide to go settle down on one woman. I would tell my son that.
I understand. I understand that point.
Yes.
okay,
I understand.
so
I just want to add. Let me add on a little bit before you go, okay?
Hold on, bro.
Right.
Because it's always good. They always talk about the nigga who's running the game, right? But they don't ever talk about the women who running the game on them niggas, bro.
okay, hold on. That's a sidebar.
Right.
I just want to get to my
They
question.
laugh and disregard them niggas.
Yes,
They
there-
laugh and
there is
disregard
a
them niggas, right?
violin- there
So
is
before I
violin
ever
being
make sure
played
my
for the
son is
niggas
one of
to
them
get game ran
niggas, I
on
will
them,
tell my son to
okay?
womanize.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
Real shit.
poor choice of
Real
words.
shit.
Well, the woman,
So I
womanize is not the right word, right?
Hold on.
That's why I'm trying to
This
clear it.
kinda
I was trying to
touches
clear it. Yeah.
Hold on. Yes, I get
Yeah,
it.
go
Womanize
ahead,
is
you.
not the correct word. It's semantics at this point. We got it. His breakdown. So you're saying that your son should go out and play the field and get to know women. According to you, the tactic or the strategy is to get to know women so that he does not get manipulated by women. Correct?
Yes. For instance, let's just say.
No, I'm
You
not
asked
done.
me. You asked me a
That's it.
question.
Yes.
Hold on. I'm not done. I'm not done my question. So
Hold on, let me finish.
you have two daughters. What is the advice that you gave your daughters?
You honestly want to know the advice I gave my daughter?
Yes.
I had a conversation with my daughter about moving in with her boyfriend 2 weeks ago.
Prior to your daughter, because we know your daughter's situation, we've discussed this already. So prior to the situation that your daughter was previously in, what was the dating advice that you gave her?
The dating advice that I gave to my daughter was, you saw me womanize for years. You saw me womanize women for like 10 years. Don't trust niggas, and make better yourself. Focus on that. And when you're mature, you know, hopefully you'll meet someone and find someone that's willing to grow with you. It's at the stage that you're at to grow with you, and you can build a family from there.
So my question is, so my final question is, why is it? Hold on. My final question is, how do you, as a man, expect females to remain virgins till whenever, but then tell your sons to go out and explore women?
My daughter not a virgin.
Okay. She's not a virgin. However, clearly you're not encouraging her to go out and have sex.
No, but my daughter's
Correct?
an adult. She's an adult.
Does that mean that you no longer provide guidance?
I always provide guidance.
Okay, so are you encouraging your daughter to go out and have sex with men and explore men?
Absolutely not. But if that's what she chose to do, my daughter knows how to handle herself in that situation. I've had that conversation with her.
So my question stands. Why as a man do you guys encourage your female children not to explore men and to remain chaste, but then tell your sons to go out and explore women physically?
My daughter been with the same dude for 3 years. That's one.
None of that changes my question.
Hold on. That's one. Shout out to them. So I that's one. Two, it's different between raising a man and raising a woman. A woman, you're raising her to be chosen, or to raise her how to choose a man, right? And my daughter is 20 years old, about to turn 21. So I think I'm doing an okay job. She's been with the same dude for 3 years. That's just going forward. Let me get a horn for that, TJ. I did a little something right. Let me get a horn for that, bro. That's one. Two, I would tell my son exactly what I'm saying, because I didn't have anyone telling me to do that. Had I been told to do that, I wouldn't have been in them situations that I experienced.
No one's
you
invalidating the why. We're not
no, but what I'm
invalidating. I'm
saying
not,
is,
I'm not invalidating why
trying to
you're telling
explain it.
your
I'm
son
trying to
that.
explain to you as why, as a man, I
Okay.
would tell my son, yo, don't get yourself set on one woman this young. It don't. I wouldn't. I would tell my son, yo, it's 1,000 other women out here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So
yo, and
I have another
it's
question.
a million. It's a million. Like, go ahead.
So now my question is, how do you expect us to get to a place as Black people, or to a culture where we trust each other, if on one hand we're telling our daughters don't sleep around, don't do this, and on the other hand we're telling our sons to?
Yo,
How do we bridge the
being
how do we
able.
bridge the gap? Hold on. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Just the
Go ahead.
final part of my question is, how do we end a gender war if we're still giving what I'm gonna call kind of bad advice? Like, I understand what you're saying as to why you're saying for your son to go out there and explore women so he doesn't get game ran on him, but does he need to go and explore millions or thousands of women in order to do that? If
It
it's
may
something
not
that
be.
you've already
It
experienced,
may not be. It may not be hundreds of women. It may be 25. I don't know. It could be 25 for him. I don't know.
is that
It was
necessary if it's something you've experienced and
possibly,
can pass
possibly
down
yes,
information
possibly
on,
yes,
though?
possibly yes. I mean, who knows? I don't know. Possibly. But what I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, yo, for what it is, right? Birth rates are at an all-time low. All of these things, right? I understand the being a Black man caught up in this system, fighting the system, trying to be there for your kids, being a single dad, dating, and all this shit, man. I would definitely tell my son to do all of that before he ever have to go through what I went through. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would listen. If my son breaking a couple hearts means that he's able to put himself in a position to where he's able to fully take care of his family and from going on forward in life, yo, I'm totally for that. I'm
Gonna be
sorry.
honest. How I
I'm
view
sorry.
this
Like, I'm
is
sorry, not sorry.
you willing to ruin other young girls' lives at the expense of you not having to do extra work as a parent. That's how that shit sounds to me.
Cass, but you don't feel like that about when somebody tried to ruin me. You know what I'm saying? When I was a young nigga and
Of
there was
course
girls
I
trying
do.
to ruin
Of
me.
course I do.
When
Of course I
when
do.
I was a young nigga,
That's exactly that.
no,
That's
this is my
exactly
point.
that.
This is my
Hold
point.
on. That's
This is my
exact. No,
point.
but that's exactly what that is. That's the same exact thing. That is other parents being lazy parents and allowing their children to go and ruin other people.
Right. But so if I'm teaching my son to how to avoid that, what are we talking about? Like I'm doing all this.
So
But
This
so
is pre-maintenance.
you're only teaching your son to avoid it if it serves just him. You're not worried
let
about
me
who else it's going to ruin.
That's
Yeah, and you're
life.
kind of like
You're
demonizing
saying,
That's
women in your
life.
you're
son's
saying,
eyes. Like you're teaching him to weaponize himself against women. Like, oh, watch yourself because women are like this and this and this.
Yes,
Like,
because women will
I
play
don't
you
have a
and
daughter.
have
I
you
just
looking
have
crazy in the group
sons.
chat, son.
But I
So
would
before
like,
no.
then,
I don't
so
see
before then,
myself
can I
saying
tell you what
so
you're
anything
before
doing?
then, here
different
you go.
to my son or my
Can
daughter.
I,
Like,
can I say something for
when a
just one
woman
quick
is in a
second?
house,
Keep going.
when a When a woman is in a house, when she's with a man, she begins to reflect his energy. A
Right.
woman gives up so much when she becomes a mother. She begins to take on the energy of her children, of her partner. She takes out the house, things like that. So if I had a daughter, and I do have a bonus daughter, I tell her all the time, I do want you to have fun because when you get locked in the house, you're in the
That's it.
house. So to be happy about your daughter being locked in with a man at such a young age and then turning around and telling your son, hey yo, just go out there and just explore and have fun, like that's what's
Nah.
creating this gender war situation now, because you
That's
can be happy and clap that your daughter has been in that relationship for 3 years, but was that man she with in that relationship for those 3 years? We don't know, because maybe that man could have been getting the same advice that you've been giving your son. We don't know.
yo.
Would your
That's
daughter
true.
tell you? You don't know that, because I was in a relationship for 10 years getting cheated on, but I was with him. He wasn't
Yo,
with me
but listen, see
because
the difference.
his family was teaching him that that was okay.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, like, oh, you stay in the house and you take care of the kids and you do da da da. So like that issue right there, that's what's creating these young adults who don't know how to date. They don't know how to communicate with each other. They don't know how to be together, because you're teaching what the daughters forever. Be with someone, pick them. That's who you marry. That's who you're with. Do whatever, deal with whatever, loyalty, da da da. But you're teaching the boys to find themselves and explore and have adventures. So we have to come to a conversation as parents and come to like an agreement. Like, what are we teaching our youth? Because this is our future, and this is what's creating our grandchildren and our great grandchildren and so on and so forth. And we have a lot of broken homes right now. And why is that? A lot of that is because as you're teaching your son to explore, you're teaching him how to objectify women and only see women as something for your enjoyment. So you only have to deal with women when you want to deal with women, not when women need or want to deal with you.
You can't say that, because you just finished saying your exact words were, well, there's millions of women, so go explore them. That's what you just finished saying.
So let me clarify. Let me clarify.
What I wanted to finish saying, and this is, I'll let you clarify in just a second.
Right.
What Sunshine touched on was, she said, you're teaching your son to look at women a certain way. What you're actually doing is you're passing down generational trauma, and you're instilling that in your son. And what he's going to do is he's going to grow up and he's going to instill that on his son. And so now we're even further away as a Black community, generations further away from resolving an issue that we're in the middle of right now.
Let me jump in on this real quick. I agree with the ladies as far as the way you delivering the message. That's what it says. I don't never want to encourage our children to go out and be dishonest. Now, I understand what you mean about a young man having to have experiences so he won't get played. But I think what Cass was trying to touch on is being as though that you have the experiences as his father. You are there to help guide him. So you can use the negative things that happened to you, and when you was young, that makes you feel like, yeah, I got to tell my son to go out there and explore because blah blah blah, because it happened to me because I wasn't out there and I got caught up. You gotta let that go. You really got to let that go.
That's not a question. But
you really got to let that go, and then look at it as people. That's part of what we talked earlier in the show. Is people getting better. We getting better. We're progressing. So by you letting that go, you come in with a better mind state on how to raise your son. You could still be mad and bitter about whatever happened to you, and it still could be painful. But you can also be like, look, son, this is life. This is what happened to me. Blah blah blah, whatever. And for you to take my mistakes or what I did or what happened to me, and I want you to navigate it a different way that nobody was there to let me know about. You know what I'm saying? No, and that way you're not.
I respect that. I would say that I would say this. When I say that, right, I'm saying it. I'm not saying it from like an egotistical standpoint. I'm saying it literally from like, yo, listen. My daughter been with the same dude for 3 years. I'm also the same dude. Like, yo, I would tell you, like, when it comes to my daughter, I'm like, I guess that's something to brag about. I'm not necessarily bragging about it, but it's just a fact. You know what I mean? But I would also say, yo, my daughter's 20. Like, I wouldn't encourage her to get married. I'm the same one to sit there and be like, nah, you're not ready. You know what I mean? You're not ready for this. You're not ready for that. When it come down to my son, I have a little bit. It's different, bro, because he's going to experience things that I've experienced, right? Certain things I can't. It's different from a father to a daughter, from a father to a son, and it's coming to directly to women. Yeah, it's my duty to prepare my son for those situations. So when it comes down to women, and I know women, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's nothing else, I know women. Yo, I'm gonna have my little dude right. The same way I got my daughter right. Like, I struggle with getting male expectations and male mentality. I struggle with translating that to my daughter today. You know what I'm saying? It's a struggle because she's a 20-year-old woman. You know what I'm saying? And the stage that she's at in her naivety, she may not want to hear what I gotta say. Because it may hurt her feelings, because it may not fit her objective or what the things that she wants to get out of life. But it's my job as her father to tell her for what it is. Yo, that nigga only 22, yo. Like, nah. It ain't, nah, you ain't ready yet. You know what I'm saying? So when it came down to my son and it was my son and a woman, yo, I'm gonna keep it real with my son too. Regardless of whatever my son got going on, I'm gonna still keep it real. So womanizer or not, he could be a square, bro. I'm gonna tell him. It don't matter. Like I'm gonna always tell them what's best for them. You know what I mean? Whether I like it or not.
Yeah, I think it's always I, I go back and forth on whether or not I'm gonna encourage my son to get married young, or because the thing, we gotta try to strategize on how we going to teach the next generation. We have to think about the ways that we were brought up and not do that, because
Yeah,
we got to start getting it right as
yeah,
parents.
absolutely.
So
And yo, and that's literally my point, bro. Like coming from where I came from, bro. Like being able to have a not a head start, but I feel like a faster track just from dealing with other people's children
mhm.
and knowing the direction to steer my children. You know what I mean? And knowing what direction to point my children. So like I take that as a bonus, bro, from being able to deal with other people's kids' situations and being able to like, yo, look, I would do this, I would do that, whatever. But being able to take my experiences and deal with my children and just guide them. Like my daughter ain't got no kids, thank God. You know what I mean? Thank goodness. She 20. You know what I mean? She in school. She's hella independent. She doing her thing. So like I would tell my daughter, like, no, a relationship ain't your focus right now. Your focus is advancing your education. Your focus is advancing your career. That then get to the point where you have that down, then where you can build the foundation and you want the dude and all that. You could get to that point first. Then we could talk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I ain't got no argument with that after that. And that's my only ask. Like, listen, get to the point where you can provide and substantiate yourself on your own, and no one, not even me, have anything to say to you about what you're doing.
Let
That's
me
all
add
I
on to
ask.
that. Let me add on to that real quick, because that's another thing. Along with whether or not we should encourage our young young people to get married early, and have traditional families and stuff like that, and be with one person. We can try to encourage them that, but sometimes that's not always the right way.
Right.
Um, but as far as like whether or not people say that with the new era with the manosphere stuff, they say that a woman that's independent and is ambitious, goal driven, is a turn off to some men, and that's how discombobulated we are as a
Right.
people. We are as a people. So we don't even know we don't even know what's right or what's wrong. We just picking any different uh narrative out there, and we just going off it. And people got a million people on this side saying, yeah, well, if she got a degree, she gonna be bossy, and she ain't gonna want to listen, and all that other stuff. And we doing a whole lot of generalizing, and that's
Right.
where the gender war come from. Yeah, everybody having their personal relationships with people. They going through their trials and tribulations and getting disappointed, and all the disappointed people are just joining together, and they just throwing out one liners at each other all day. Nobody really digging deep, and that brings us to this question of the day: do you believe you can have a successful relationship without attempting to heal your trauma? Do you even know that you suffer from
No, you
trauma?
cannot. And half the people
And
don't.
I guarantee you,
We're
the
gonna
people
start.
that's
We're gonna
watching,
we're gonna let
yeah,
we're
like
gonna let
we,
Courtney answer first.
yeah, go ahead, Courtney.
No, you cannot. You cannot start a relationship with. You cannot have a successful relationship with somebody until you heal from your trauma. Because then, now, here comes that statement: hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people. Hmm.
So now, because I'm going through all this trauma, every little thing that you do, whether you intended it for it to be that way, because I went through what I went through, I'm automatically going to think you on something. And I'm automatically going to come at you heavily guarded, like heavy, real heavy guarded. Like, nah, because that nigga did that, this, that, and the third. So because you did that, not knowing that you did that, And because I didn't heal and start loving myself and knowing my worth and knowing, yeah, I went through that, but not every person is the same person. Not
Mm-hmm.
everything, just because I might do something that that person might have did, doesn't mean that my intention is the same.
Very
Mm-hmm.
true. Very true.
And then,
Action and intention. Action versus intention.
right.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and growing with somebody, you also have to grow and know somebody. Because how I approach you with the situation, I can have that same situation with a different person, but the way I approach you, completely different. The way you take me, I can come at both. Say I come at you the same way I come at my homeboy or somebody else that I'm dealing with, and then you got somebody that's potentially trying to squeeze themselves in there. If I come at both of y'all with the same situation, both of y'all did the same thing to me, and I come at both of y'all,
With different results.
and then y'all give me different things, it's like at the end of the day, I didn't know who I was talking to because I didn't know myself.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I follow.
and not knowing myself, I'm setting myself up for failure, and it's not fair for that other person. Because all I'm doing is hurting you, and who knows who I'm turning you into being for that next person.
That's true.
A lot of people don't even think about that, and that's
People
that's.
don't
I'm
think
glad
about
you
that.
brought that up.
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up because you messing up people. People are really selfish. We got to start thinking like the effect we're gonna have on other or outside of ourselves, and it just goes back to us just being better. And that's why the question is so very important because I really don't believe that everybody. I would say majority of people don't know anything about their trauma.
Because a
That's why the
lot of people
communication.
ignore mental health.
Yeah.
Hmm.
A lot of people ignore mental health, and a lot of people see the fact of mental health as a weakness. Mental health is
I won't call it a
abnormal.
weakness.
Like it's like, oh, you too emotional, too sensitive, and I'm the queen of sensitivity. I am the queen of emotions. I promise you, I am sensitive. I promise you that anybody who knows me will tell you I'm a crybaby. I'm sensitive. But what I also had to learn, because I had children, that with every situation that I go through, you're always going to have your emotions and you're going to always have that reality. You have to start to take your emotions out of the situation and focus on what the reality of the
That's a
situation
fact.
is.
That's a fact.
Because
Hmm.
if you don't focus on what the reality of the situation is, you're going to be stuck in this fantasy. You're going to be stuck in this universe. And when you're stuck in that universe, can't nobody tell you nothing because it's what you see.
Yeah.
And it's you're a firm believer in what you see,
Indeed.
not realizing everything else around you is happening in real time.
Right. And yo, give Courtney a run. Give Courtney a horn, bro. Yeah. So we're gonna go to the self-care snob with question of the day, and then we're gonna go
Let me
to
read it again. You
Sunshine.
need me to read it again? I'm sorry. Because
Yeah,
Sunshine
you
wasn't
read it
here. Let me
again.
read it again.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
read it again,
Sure.
bro.
Do you believe you can have a successful relationship without attempting to heal your trauma? Or do we even know what trauma do we even know that we have experienced in trauma?
So, not without attempting to recognize or heal your trauma. Now, I mean, you can start a relationship, and a lot of people do because a lot of people avoid facing anything that might be going on internally. Most times, people get into relationships to avoid that. That's the social trend right now, especially and for the last maybe decade or so.
Mm,
So, I mean, you can definitely enter a relationship. How it's going to end is, I mean, we know a lot of relationships don't last nowadays, and that's a pretty good indicator of why is a lot of people aren't addressing or recognizing their traumas or how it's affecting them. So I would say no. In rare cases, yes, but that's rare. It's very rare that you are a completely traumatized person and you meet somebody who's going to be patient or even qualified enough to take that on. And so it's not a regular thing. So I would say no, it's not. I don't think, and based on social trends especially, everybody hates everybody, so I don't think it's possible really to. It's true. Everybody hates everybody. You cannot go on the internet as any, whether
Oh
you're in a
man.
relationship or you're single, somebody hates you for something on the internet.
Yo,
Everybody hates
niggas.
everybody. Nobody is happy about anything. Even if they have something to be happy about in real life, they find something to be angry about on the internet. So
Yo,
I would
niggas,
say no.
niggas do be angry on the internet, man.
Mhm.
Sunshine,
Just for no reason, seemingly.
how you feel? How you feel about the question of the day?
It's a good question. In my line of work, I don't really like to use the trauma word, because I know that it's utilized in Western medicine to, keep people in a certain kind of
Mm.
mental state so they can stay customers in the psych
Mm-hmm.
and the psych
Oh, okay.
department like that. So I don't really like to utilize the word trauma. We do experience like challenges in this life. Some challenges that feel heavier than others. Something that's small to me might be bigger to you, or vice versa. So, do I think that people going through things can date someone? Yes, I do. Um, it's a matter of compatibility in those spaces. I've seen two unhealed people heal together, being together and growing
Mm.
together. But they
That's
willing to do
what I was going to add on to that question, but ask that too. But yeah, I'm glad you said that. Hmm.
Yeah, they were willing to do the work. And when we utilize, if we want to stick with the trauma word or even with the word challenges, which I like a whole lot better,
Hmm.
it's not just people just think about emotional or like, oh, this person's a narcissist, like the basic social media shit.
Right.
Hmm.
And that's what everybody thinks about when they think about the word trauma or
Right.
issues or whatever. And it's like, okay, but you could have financial challenges. You could have a job today, have all this money, this, that, and the third, and then be broke tomorrow. Like Dick
Mm-hmm.
Gregory said he was bankrupt more than he was rich. And his wife was with him both times.
Right.
So, you can be healed when you meet your person. You can have the money, you can have the things, you can have all the mental words, you can have the emotional stuff. And guess what? You could lose your job tomorrow. You can get hit by a car and now you can't talk and walk no more. Or, all these different things can happen. You can have something so emotionally devastating happen right in front of you or experience
Yeah.
some traumatic event and shit. Like, you being stable is not permanent. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
You being just quote unquote healed,
Absolutely.
whatever, social media made that look to everybody what healed looks like. Um, yeah, that's not a stable thing, and it'll never be a
Oh,
stable thing. And that's why communicating with someone is so important because you want to know, hey, how do you handle yourself in these kind of situations? What's your moral code? What's your integral code? What are your habits? What do you see yourself? What is something about you, like if we're dealing with different kind of situations, like how do you behave in these different kind of situations? Like, and then you have to ask yourself, is this something that you can deal with? Because some people, like women, like I know I heard you say something about manipulative women controlling women. I know men that are perfect for those kind of women because they don't like to do shit.
Right.
So I've seen couples like that where that
Yeah.
manipulative woman is being treated like a queen by this man. He's perfectly fine away. Like there's somebody for everybody. But I'm pretty sure there was a lot of men that she challenged or quote unquote traumatized so much
Right.
that they still telling the
That
world
she
about
got
this woman
cheated
20,
on.
30 years later.
That
You
she
know what
got
I
cheated
mean?
on. Right.
Right, right. And the same
Right.
thing with men. So, to say that two people who are going through challenges, someone doesn't deserve love, something that we're actually here to do, that's wild.
mm.
Nah, I think
No.
everybody deserves love. I think these conversations will help the next person going forward to avoid one of those situations in which they could avoid to actually experience and go through a real situation in which they actually do find love in a situation that work for them. And that's the purpose of these conversations, man. So like, yo, here only on the Melvin Air podcast, bro. Big shout out to the Self Care Snob, man. Relationships, the podcast coming soon. Be on the lookout. Big shout out to the Self Care Snob on this, man. It's a dope relationship series, man. It was a winner from the first time I heard it, man. So I want everybody to get their handles out before we close out. This was a dope ass show. I'm not gonna lie. Like I
Definitely.
appreciate all
Definitely.
y'all. Great dialogue. Great questions, man. Yo, just make sure y'all tuned in, man. Subscribe, hit the like button, share the show. Help us get in the algorithm, man. And yo, it's too much to run down the list,
8215.
bro. It's too much to run down the list, man. Yo, just be on the lookout, bro. Book us the inquiries is melvinandmedia@gmail.com. Melvin_podcast on IG. Can't knock the muscle _43 on IG. It's my personal page. Melvin Ed Podcast group on Facebook. For all interested in joining the community. And we're going to start with the Self-Care Snob, and we'll go to Sunshine, follow with Billy Ray, and close out with Courtney.
That's what it is. It's the Self-Care Snob on Instagram. I also have a TikTok, but I don't TikTok really. So the Self-Care Snob on Instagram.
Hola, I'm Sunshine Monet L. You can find me on all streaming platforms, Sunshine Monet L. On Instagram is Sunshine Monet L. Nobody. TikTok Sunshine Monet L. So is Facebook.
Yo, we gotta bring you on here and play some music too, man. I gotta line it up, man. Yo, that's my shit, yo. Definitely gotta bring you on here and play some music. Go ahead, bro.
All right. Billy Ray Valentine on Facebook. Billy Ray Valentine _B1 on Instagram. Instagram, and on not TikTok, on X. Billy Ray 215.
Already. Let people know they can follow you.
Yeah, well, I'm on Instagram. What's my Royalty_0816. That's my Instagram.
Make sure y'all follow Courtney, man.
My Facebook is just Courtney G.
Already, man. Yo, be tuned in next week, yo. It's Melvin and Mania volume. What we at, like volume 12, yo? And that shit got up there quick. It's like volume 12 or 13. It's like 12 or 13, yo, for Melvin and Mania, man. But yo, it got up there quick, bro. Yo, I just want to say, yo, big shout out to my team, man. That's all I'll say, man. Yo, big shout out to my team, man. I love y'all, bro.
Appreciate it. Love you back.
Love y'all, bro. Like, yo.
Appreciate for having me.
Always, man. Like, yo, I ain't gonna talk shit yet, bro. But I'll be talking shit in a minute, yo. Like, man, be on the lookout for the, yo. We might make a Melvin Air compilation album, bro. I ain't gonna lie, yo. We might have some shit up in the works, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, man, yo. Just be on the lookout, bro. Like, yo, we one of the realest, man, yo. Y'all favorite podcast, your favorite podcast, and them niggas ain't talking about what we talk about. You know what I'm saying? They talk about a bunch of goofy shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? What they sponsors and they masters tell them what they can talk about. Yo, we talk about what the fuck we want. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact, bro. Yo, we back next week, man. So till then, Rona Plug, Melvin and Mania next week, man. Can't knock the muscle _43. Books and inquiries, melvinandmedia@gmail.com, man. We'll catch y'all next week. Remember, pieces of privilege. Stay safe, stay dangerous. And we catch y'all next week, man. Peace, love, salute.
Salute.
Dope show, yo. Appreciate y'all.
Definitely, bro.